Hello, welcome to the Data Debate. Today we have the CEO of Fermi America, Toby Neugebaer, and we have some of his team with him as well. There's also the VP of Marketing, Kathy Landtroop. My name is Chris Dugan. I am the business chair at Mesa Lands College. Located in Tucumcari, New Mexico. And Toby, thank you for joining us today as
Well,
part
thank
of,
you.
yes, sir, as part of the Panhandle community. We wanted to get a better sense of your plans and kind of your progress with this massive, incredible power and AI compute undertaking that you have going on. And but first, to kind of humanize things, just kind of get a little bit of a better understanding of you. I understand you're from the area, and if you don't mind giving a kind of like a brief background about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And I am from around here. Our family came to the Panhandle of Texas in the early 1900s. Row crop farmers, primarily cotton down in Lubbock, where I'm from. But would come up here to Amarillo. Some of my number one buddies, those who are my age, I'm 55. Remember everybody gathered at the Whataburger. So spent many a Friday and Saturday nights here in Amarillo, hanging out at the local spots.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, as far as just to kind of get into things, as far as the project, I have numerous questions. Some of them are generated through AI actually, and some of them are
Awesome.
generated, yeah, that are based on some of the concerns or interests or the overall kind of wanting of, if you will, of the community in the Panhandle. And so I'd like to just get started, if you don't mind, just kind of giving us a point in time, if you will, where things are at as far as
Yep.
this 11 gigawatt build out.
Yep. Well, anytime that you are on Highway 60, headed to on that Pantex Highway, you can see an extraordinary thing occurring. In the next month, we will complete a gas pipeline that will deliver 300 million cubic feet of gas per day to the site. Long term, we'll have over 2,000 million cubic feet of gas a day. It'll be one of the largest consumers of gas. We are connecting to the Excel. That line will be completed in the next 30 to 40 days. And so we'll then start we've started laying the footings for the gas gensets. Right now, the company owns or controls just under 2.3 gigawatts of power. To put that into context for you, Hoover Dam is about 2 gigawatts. So we're talking about a significant amount of power that we've already procured and are in the process of getting ready to install.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. And I know we're going to get into a little bit later in regards to jobs. I have a few questions for you, but to try to quantify it, I know this is obviously very exciting for the people of Amarillo, for the greater region of the Panhandle. Is there some way you can quantify what kind of dollar figures that would be brought to the local economy,
Right.
maybe 18 months out, maybe 4 or 5 years out, just to
Right.
kind of give the people an understanding, what we're looking at?
Yes. Well, when we think about all in, and that includes the chips for 11 gigawatts, I mean, you're going to be talking about a total capital investment of close to 600 to 800 billion dollars. In terms of what you can see in the next 18 to 24 months as we begin the significant installation of the gas generation, the initial stages of the nuclear development, and the data center installs, I would expect 5 to 8,000 people at the site. I think by peak 2030, you're looking at maybe as high as 10,000 people working
Wow,
at the job site. And what's
impressive.
great about our project is the diversity of jobs. So, what y'all have is this great Amtech here in Amarillo. So you're going to have great trades jobs. You're going to have engineering jobs. You're going to have transportation jobs because, then we've got to feed all of these people. So it's just going to make a massive impact, not just into the construction jobs or the trades jobs, which is going to be a boom, and set the young people here in the community up with a set of skills. But there's going to be so many other residual jobs supporting an investment of this magnitude.
Well, that's really impressive. It's great to hear the numbers aren't, as you said, they're more of a diversity of jobs, not just construction
Right.
related and kind of potentially people from outside coming in short amount of time and then leaving. These jobs will grow with the community and they'll scale up, it sounds like, over time.
My two nephews are one's at Amarillo High, and the other one's just finished at Amarillo College and is going now to Canyon at West Texas A&M. And one of the big problems that we've had in the Panhandle for the last 30 to 40 years is our best thing that we make out here is high quality individuals. And what we're doing is we're exporting our best product, which is high quality individuals, and they have to go live in other places. And
Understood.
clearly one of the things that I'm passionate about is giving back to the Panhandle and seeing it be successful.
Well, that's wonderful, and I can attest to that. From my standpoint, I've lived in various parts of the United States and abroad between the business and the military, and I can say that here people are very well grounded, highly intelligent, as you say, and it's sad to see them have to leave to find a job rather than reinvest their skills and their knowledge back in the communities that they come from. So I completely understand that. One point that you mentioned, if I may touch upon, you mentioned about the chips. One thing I would say is that given the kind of iterations of, let's just say AI data centers in general,
Right.
but particular AI with the GPU build out, specifically NVIDIA being kind of the Goliath, if you will, in the marketplace, it's nice that you guys can come along a little bit later and maybe take part of the Blackwell type chips, the higher level chips that can do much more compute, and they're more efficiently designed, if that makes sense.
Well, and I think so. We were just talking about it. That NVIDIA is out with the 800 kilowatt rack, and this is a perfect time for us to be coming to market. And what we're seeing is the energy. Yes, what we're doing with that unit of energy in terms of AI compute is expanding, but the intensity of power is not decreasing. And what our site's really about is what we provide the leading technology companies in the world is the opportunity to have power at scale and at certainty, and we can deliver that power to them quickly. And so I think that's what will, I hate even saying we're in the data center business. What we're building is the largest private utility in the world. And it's a private utility for the sole purposes of generating power that is required. And it's a differentiated power than what the consumer needs for the artificial intelligence business.
Excellent. And if I may, I'd like to touch a bit upon later water usage, but for now, kind of as it relates to the AI data centers. But for now, if we may talk about a little bit about nuclear. As you had stated many times, your company is the only one currently that has a application in with the NRC for the AP1000.
Yes.
Which, of course, for the viewers to understand, it's the standard based on Westinghouse Gen 3 as far as the nuclear reactors.
Right.
Yeah, just to give context, we have roughly around 90 plus reactors in the US.
Yes.
China's roughly about 60, if that
Right.
makes sense. can you speak to a little bit about the
Yeah, I
importance?
think the issue that we've got in this power race, because we are, let me be clear, the artificial intelligence race is ultimately a power race. You cannot have one more unit of smart artificial intelligence if you don't have, I like to say we're in the dumb electron business. If you don't, it takes one dumb electron to make one smart electron. And when we look at where we are in the United States, in the last 40 years, we've only built 2 reactors. We had a failed third and fourth in South Carolina. And frankly, even the 2 that we built were absolute disaster. In the meantime, using the same technology that China has, depending on where you see it, somewhere between 20 and 30 under construction right now. So this they're not building those reactors so that they can lower air conditioning rates for their citizens. This is absolutely a geopolitical war, and it's not being. It is a nuclear war. It's not. It's a nuclear power war.
Yes, sir. And just to go ahead and add context to your statement, because I've heard you say that about the air conditioners in the past. So just to give you a little bit of a reference. So I was in Beijing and I was sitting down with friends and we were having a meal. And I noticed that, they were a little upset. And I kind of asked, I said, well, what's going on? I said, well, our power's been off for a week. And I
Sure.
said, well, what do you mean your power's been off for a week? Says, well, and they're Americans, of course, and they had come over and they're there to work.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that they had plugged in an extra heater and they were cut off.
Yeah.
So the mentality in China is they go on what they have. If you exceed what they have, you're going to be cut off. That's the mindset. And where in America, there's everybody all for one, and our
Yes.
mindset is about ourselves. Many times, unfortunately, it's getting that way. In China, the mindset is more one for all, kind of. You
That's
know,
right.
we put that power across the whole system, and if you exceed on your end, we're not going to give you a warning. We're going to literally cut you off. And so they were a little upset. So they were without power for about a week, and then it came on. So they got colder than they had imagined in
Uh,
Beijing in the winter. So yeah.
well,
So to your
that's what you're
point,
saying. I mean,
yeah,
that's the point. They're not building these 30 reactors so that your friends have more comfort. They're
exactly.
building these reactors as part of a geopolitical power game, pun intended,
Right.
and whoever has the most power will have the most power.
True, and just real quickly, and we'll get kind of get back on track on my end. As far as and maybe we could talk a little bit about this a little bit later. But kind of DeepSeek is their AI, so to speak, and
Right.
depending on who you talk to, AGI is going to be coming soon in so many years. And
Yes.
but as far as AI as it speaks right now, DeepSeek is supposedly using less power, but at the same time, because of the chip, obviously the chip backlog. So it's interesting to kind of see how they're going to manage all this power. But to your point, they're building for that because it's needed.
I like to say, let's watch what the Chinese do, not what they say.
Right,
And
right,
so they talk about this DeepSeek, and I think DeepSeek, it's not a fair analogy, but to me it's like Cliff Notes AI. So what it does is, to me, it gives you a Cliff Notes of what an AI process would be.
true, true.
But when I look at the Chinese actions, they're doing 2 things. Number one, we've talked about the nuclear power plants that they're constructing, but this other thing is this monster dam where they're damming that be the highest dam. And I mean, they're almost risking war with India because they're
Right.
that passionate about delivering power at scale for their artificial intelligence ambitions. So, I'm not being critical of them. I'm saying let's wake up, don't watch what they're saying, and let's be paying real close attention to what they're doing.
Absolutely. And if I can make one statement, then we'll move on to water, is
Okay.
that, you know, your call to action, your creating a sense of urgency. Again, with nuclear, to make everybody understand, we're looking at at least probably a 4 to 6 year window to put from breaking
Yes.
ground to, yeah, firing up the reactors. So it's so important that if this is going to happen, it's happening now as you're putting in place.
Well, and the key thing that we have at our site is the Panhandle has been the base load heat source for the United States for 70 years. I sometimes think the community forgets how important they are to keeping people warm in the upper Midwest and the Northeast. Up until 5 years ago, the Hugoton Basin that starts basically here in Amarillo and goes up to the Panhandle of Oklahoma, eases into Kansas, was the largest basin until the people in just south of us, our fellow West Texas people, Midland, showed the people in Pennsylvania how to frack these wells. So we play such a critical role in I call it the original District 35A, the Friday Night Lights district, because it included Midland and Odessa, Lubbock, Amarillo, and Abilene. So we've been playing an important part, and we have we have the best natural gas pipeline infrastructure in the Panhandle of any place on the planet. So when you take the resource corridor that takes New Mexico, where you're from, the Panhandle of Texas, Oklahoma, go down south of Midland and Odessa, this is the richest hydrocarbon region on planet Earth, and the most comprehensive infrastructure. So we have that as our transition to what we ultimately know we've all got to do, and that's to produce nuclear power at scale.
Excellent. And if I could follow you on that to bring it back home as you're stating, as far as the water, it's understood that your team has been doing everything they can to go ahead and minimize water usage. And could you speak to that?
Oh, okay. I want you to invite Kathy back, or Jacobo, and I want to show you these big water tower coolers that we're going to be. It's going to look like, sooner than you think, that we've installed nuclear power plants out there, because we're going to install these cooling towers that look just like the big cooling towers that you see in nuclear development. And what that does is it reduces water consumption by 85%.
Wow.
And how you should think about it is the traditional way we've been doing it, and I think it's the wrong way in the U.S., we've just been wasting water, just circulating it. The way I like to think of it, my mom used to make me wash the windows at our house, so I'm very experienced using the Windex. Yeah. Think about it, when that back pressure, which is the reason you need water to cool, when we start feeling it, just kind of like the Windex, we just spray it only when we need it. So you won't see the plumes. So when you see plumes, you're seeing wasted water. And so, again, I know this isn't the technical way to think about it, but when you're thinking about Fermi, think of Windex. When your mom used to make you wash those windows, is that using these big, cool towers, we're going to have basically a Windex bottle, and when that back pressure starts kicking in and we need to cool, we'll just be sprayed just when we need it. So on a February day, we probably aren't going to use any water, and so that's the strategy. I think it's going to be precedent setting for the country. Unfortunately, of course, the Chinese are already doing this, and some of the Eastern Europeans, and it's not a good thing in America that this is such a. It's like I was writing to one of our potential tenants, it's a 50-year-old cutting edge idea, meaning they've been building these things for 50 years, but it will be cutting edge in the United States.
Right. Got it. Okay, and so anything else to share about water? That's excellent, obviously.
The key thing about water is, again, when we've Senator Perry is from the Panhandle as well, and he is Texas's sheriff for water. And I've known him for a while, but he came and he was not coming to be buddies with me. He came to see our review of what the heck this water was, and what expected to be a, hours-long meeting ended up being about a 15 to 20-minute meeting, because he immediately got what we were doing, and he's like, "There's no plume. There's no plume, is there?" And we're like,
Yeah.
"There's no plume." And so, when you think about it as 11 cornfields at full deployment. And I think the economic trade-off for the region to convert 11, 12 cornfields into one of the largest both energy and artificial intelligence complexes in the world, I think the benefits to the broadest possible residents of the Panhandle can't be better, and that's our intention.
Great. So it sounds like obviously your team has planned for everything. Obviously, looking at all different
I
aspects.
really want to show y'all those towers. We were in one of the towers. I think we were in Hungary yesterday, and Cezanne, who is the woman who runs our supply chain, and you just saw her into context of the whole tower. She was inside one of them, and everyone's going to come out just to see those.
Excellent. Well, that's going to hopefully lessen a lot of fear about water usage and wasted, as you mentioned, to the atmosphere type of thing. So
absolutely, that would. It's just not acceptable to waste water. Period, and for sure not acceptable to waste water here in the Panhandle of Texas. Stewardship is. Literally all my best friends still live in Lubbock, and they're even a more shallower part of the Ogallala, and I even had my best high school buddy came up to have dinner with me last night, and so I still want to be able to come out here with my friends, and draining the Ogallala would make me person non grata in my hometown.
Yes. So maybe we can pivot a little bit, and just wanted to get your idea. So currently, AI is evolving, right? Some people say we're in the first or second inning, if you want to use a kind of
baseball
metaphor for baseball. So it seems like a lot of the power producers are starting to kind of get into the verticals, right? Even the NVIDIAs, the chip makers, are saying, there's some pieces missing here. How do we fill those, like software and some other areas, to augment what they've already got in place? Because they best know their chips, right? So how do you see, again, not trying to hold you at anything particular, but how do you see kind of the takeoff long term? Do you see compute at some point where you're doing retail? And because the margins are so high, I mean,
they're good margins.
Real good margins, yeah. Some say could be potentially the best ever for
today. They're for sure the highest margin business in the history of the planet.
Yes, exactly. So, is that possibly, because what I'd like to bring along with it is it could bring in a lot of potentially technology companies to co-locate close by because of all the things you point out, the fiber lines, gas lines, all these other things.
We didn't even talk about it. We have gray fiber at our site, as you know.
Absolutely.
So let me talk about my limitations. I can barely work the TV remote. So what I say to everybody here is that I'm going, and Fermi's going to be the leader in the dumb electron business. How I think you can see us talking about the co-location is, why is JP Morgan using Microsoft? I don't know if that's who their provider is, but or Walmart. So what I see happening at our site is, right now most people think of our potential tenant pool as the 5 or 7 largest technology companies in the world, and they for sure are. But what I absolutely think about is Shopify is a competitor of Amazon. So, but they probably use Amazon's technology.
AWS,
and you see what I'm saying is, I think you're going to see companies, as AI is so embedded into their business, wanting their own facilities, and I think that we will be a co-location, but it's probably not Toby who should be building and designing the racks. If I get to where I can operate the TV remote at the house, I might get more ambitious about that. But what we can do is we can help those companies launch, and there will be no better place for them to co-locate than our site here in Amarillo.
Got it, got it. Yeah, because I'm just leaning on the knowledge of Shenzhen,
Yes, I've been to
right, the
Shenzhen.
Silicon Valley of China,
Yeah,
and they've got 4 reactors currently. They're building, I believe, 4 more.
right.
So everybody's obviously wants to be for low latency and all that. They want to be close by. So maybe in the future.
I definitely, I was in Hong Kong the other day, and I thought, gosh, I'm not even sure I should be comfortable here in Hong Kong. I would love to go back to Shenzhen, but I'm afraid I might be on a list
Right, right, yeah, of course.
I don't think
Yeah.
my board or
Public
any of
enemy,
my
yeah.
executive teams wants to see if I'm on that list or not. I
Gotcha.
definitely would get arrested for jaywalking probably in Shenzhen. But
I
the point
would assume, yeah.
is what you're talking about is that it's an intensive focus on power. They get
Yes.
that's the competitive advantage. And think about it. The intelligence is tied to chip clusters. The larger the chip cluster, the greater the intelligence. What's the determinant in chip cluster? Power. And so we can do that for them, but I won't be designing the new chip design or any new chips. And like I said, I can barely operate the iPad myself. So, but we're really good at delivering power at scale. And we are going to expand the universe of customers so that we're going to encourage Walmart and encourage Target, encourage Caterpillar, that run your own, because they're going to develop those competencies in-house, and they're going to need a place where they can locate that.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And before we close, I would just like to ask if there's anything else you'd like to share. Obviously, you're from the community.
Yes.
You've been part of it for all your life, and
Exactly.
so you want to do right by Amarillo and the greater Panhandle area. Can
Yeah,
you
my
share
dad's congressional district came right up to Amarillo. I think we were just one county away. So, being a part of the community and serving the community, this is not some, when we had some of the hearings and some of the people who came out, and we definitely appreciated the concern, the only thing that was weird for me was they acted like I was, some sort of outsider from here, and in terms of how we think, where we're from. My wife's from Albany, which is pretty far West Texas as well. It was but this way. My wife and I grew up in the original Friday Night Lights football district with the rest of you all, and so we absolutely think. I mean, I've been to so many football games at Dick Bivens Stadium. It never even registered that I wasn't from here.
Right. Understood. Well, Toby, thank you for joining the data debate.
Great.
We look forward to future conversations with yourself as well as your team with updates and all the great things that you're doing for us as a community as well as the greater good of the U.S.
Well, thank you very much. It's a privilege that we get to do something that has this importance in a place we love this much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.